But we have decided to find the leadership of our own.
You know. Not your average nigga, I'm a god out the hood. They can't downplay me, I came up, I'm elevated. I ain't gotta say too much for them to know I'm coming for what's mine. You know they see me in my presence, say they see how I'm coming. Young, but you not just gonna finesse me like you did my peoples. Then back when you said they was emancipated. This ain't that. Your head too big, you feeling yourself. The game wasn't fair, you had the advantage, we wasn't educated. I don't look at you people the same. Nah. Your worst nightmare, my skin tone about them change. Yeah. Not no circus lion, son, I can't be tamed. You gon' have to kill me, pussy, Toby ain't my name. Y'all still want us think our history started when we were slaves? What? Come on now, talk about them pyramids we made. I was chosen by that man, you know y'all just been running game. The nerve of you acting
What's going on, y'all? And welcome back to Shifting the Culture Podcast. I'm your host, Brother King Cam, and tonight we got a real special show lined up because we're going to be talking about and dealing with Cybersecurity Unveiled. Cybersecurity Unveiled. And we're going to be having a good brother come on to talk with us tonight. Just about some of the myths of cybersecurity and information security and how we are able to uncover those myths and how we can get into the industry, why cybersecurity, information security is important. I look forward to having this conversation. So what I need everybody to do, shout out to the Facebook family, YouTube family, Instagram fam, Twitter, LinkedIn, everybody's tuned in. So I need you to hit the comment section. Let me know what city and state that you commenting in from or checking in from, as well as make sure that you like, share, subscribe, tweet, retweet, and all of those different things so that we can break the algorithm. All right, family? So in the meantime, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and play one of my favorites from one of my favorite artists out now, Golden Child. And then after that, we're going to get into the conversation for the night. All right?
There can never really be justice on stolen land. Are you really for peace and equality? Or when my car is hooked up, no, you want to follow me. Your laws are minimal, because you won't even think about looking at the real criminal.
You know. Yes, sir. The victory belongs to the righteous. Our power is in our unity. Yeah. Look. When you see me coming, know it's serious. Am I really like that? Ask the trenches if you curious. I still laugh and know how to have a good time. Just gotta ask God to forgive us for how we get when we furious. Masculine, he, him, his. Yeah, I'm on that. Try to cancel me, you might get canceled. You should know that. No, I can't let them castrate me. No, sir, they won't pay me for my manhood. Keep it, we don't want that. U.S. soldiers come home and the people thank them for their service. If they knew how many lives we saved, they thank us for our service. Save some people's lives that might not ever know we saved them. Long as Allah pleased with how we out here working, then
it's always worth it. Yeah.
Please don't get us confused. Yeah, we pushing peace, but we get busy.
We get violent too.
Got some brothers with the movement, but they ain't got all they screws. Yeah. We just found the truth and we were Allah come against us and we bound to lose. Can't say I ain't warn you. Can't say I ain't tell you.
Come on.
Come through with them ones.
Let us know. Hit the comment section. Let me know what city and state you tuned in from. What's going on, Brother Nathan? Pittsburgh in the building from IG. Tap in.
They ask me, is this real or is this for the cameras? A lot of brothers say they fire people, but really be scammers. If all the work I put in was on camera, you would have that answer. What I look like doing this for clout, look, I got higher standards. I don't need 100 soldiers with me, I got God with me. Still pull up deep to show the brothers unified with me. Know some brothers ready for whatever that's gonna ride with me. Got some real dedicated members on this side with me. Youngin' out his mind, off a pill, he think he's Superman. Off a pill, he get way out his body, think he's Super Saiyan. He just trying to escape the pain for real, escape
reality.
Streets depressing, you can lose your mind
and you can lose your head.
Promise we been getting the trench together though,
for sure that
they trying to tell us what to do respectfully.
We know know that.
Lot of commentary from them people
On the sidelines.
all that stuff they like to talk about.
Yeah, we on that.
So look, please don't get us confused. Yeah, we pushing peace, but we get busy, we get violent too.
Yeah, this Shifting the Culture podcast.
Got all they screws, we just found the truth and we were.
Hey, we going up in a second.
You bound to lose. Can't say I ain't warn you, can't say I ain't tell you.
Yeah.
Come through with them ones, with the members called us failures. Grew up in the trenches, but it turned us into warriors. Mama, I was born to buck the system, I'm rebellious for sure.
Yeah.
Mama, I was born to buck the system, I'm rebellious for sure. Mama, I was born to buck the system, I'm rebellious for sure.
Mama, I was born to buck the system, I'm rebellious for sure. All right, family. So, man, that's kind of how we go about this thing, rebelling against those forces that stop us from getting ahead. So that's what it's about. We was born to be rebellious. And that includes being able to bring this information to our community and discuss more about cybersecurity and information security. So what I want to do, because we're going to have a special guest from Symposia come and speak with us tonight and just educate us more on information security, why it's important, and the impact that it has on today's world. Recently, matter of fact, let me pull this up. There was a cyber attack that happened against all of the car dealerships. Hold on. And this is just one instance why this is important. Okay? So, and this was really big. Like, this was something that was really huge. Okay? So it says right here in this CNN Business news article that it may take months to correct, if not years. Car dealerships and customers feel the impact as CDK outage drags on. So they just did this earlier today at 5:30. So this happened. The cyber attack took place last week, and they're still feeling the effects of it. So it says that cars sit on Chevrolet dealerships lot on June 20th, which is 5 days ago, in Chicago, Illinois. A cyber attack on CDK Global, a software provider that helps dealerships manage sales and service, has crippled the workflow at approximately 15,000 dealerships across the United States and Canada. So they're not able to log in the information that's necessary in order for them to actually make sales. They're not able to do that because of the CDK system that they use that allows them to that provides the data for them and allows them to move through their workflow. So they've essentially stopped the money. A CDK global system outage has affected nearly every aspect of the Mazda dealership, and I'm not even going. What's the Seek, Massachusetts, where Ryan Callahan is general sales manager. He says it won't be a simple fix. The financial impact it will directly have on us will take months to correct, if not years, Callahan said. Wow. So as you can see, these are the instances in which cybersecurity, information security is important. And what I'm learning from the course within Symposia, which is the program and the company that I partnered with, and they specialize in teaching you how to become a GRC or risk analyst. And in that, you're learning about all of the things that you do to prep companies and to hopefully help companies from not being a victim of these cyber attacks. And this is just huge because now you have car dealerships that are affected financially that they said may take years to correct. So what's happening is these type of skills are necessary and needed, and they're paying a lot of money to get the right personnel. So what we want to do is we want to go into this further tonight with Ismael, and he's going to help us to, and I want you all to start thinking of questions. Start thinking of questions that you can ask tonight I put it on my Instagram about anybody had any questions around cybersecurity. If you wasn't able to see it there, then put your questions in the comment section so that we can get as many questions and ask Brother Ishmael about those questions that you have so that we can educate you more and more about the urgency of the skill set that's needed in this particular industry. Okay? So shout out to he got that flame. Yeah, he got that flame. Shout out to Golden Child. Shout out to Brother Anthony Wiggins. We're going to do some shout outs to the family real quick. Brother Anthony Wiggins, checking in from Richmond, Virginia. Shout out to Richmond, Virginia. That's the home. All right, we got Mr. Muhammad 92, Auto Nation. Definitely hacked in Atlanta. Yep. Auto Nation. 15,000 dealerships in America, right? Brother Nathan, Fall of America, the hackers demanding ransom money. Yeah, absolutely. We know this is what we call ransomware. This is what we call a ransomware attack. And what happens with ransomware attacks, family, is that hackers get inside the system, mostly through phishing emails. That's the number one way that ransomware enters onto a network, is through phishing emails. And that's because they go through employees, essentially, in order to get the phishing emails. And the phishing emails ultimately allow them access to the network. So they'll send these emails to employees at the company with a link attached to them. And if the employee has not been trained or hasn't been recently trained or stayed updated on what phishing emails may look like, then they may mistake that email to be something from upper management or urgent email, and they may click the link. And as soon as they click the link, the ransomware has now been able to enter into the network. And from that point on, the data becomes encrypted or held for ransom. And then what happens is they block up all of the files where you have no access to them. And in order for you to get those files back, you have to pay the ransom, right? You have to pay the ransom. So, and it's extortion. It ruins a company's reputation because, say, if you pay the ransom, you become a soft target. If you don't pay the ransom, then they release the data to the public, and now the breach is public. So that's how we end up finding out about it. It hits the news, but now the reputation of the company has taken a major hit because people now don't want to have their data, have their personal information with companies that can't keep them safe. People do not want to have their data or harbor their data with companies who cannot keep them safe. So this now causes the business to take a hit. Okay? Now this causes the business to take a hit. All right, family. So this is why information security, cybersecurity is so important. And they are knocking down the doors for this type of stuff to be handled. And in the process of them handling this, they want to make sure that they got the proper skill set, as well as the fact that they're going to make sure that they're going to pay top dollar. Because after companies have been hit, then they really got to pay. But they're going to pay top dollar for those people who got those skills. All right. So, but now, what I want to go ahead and do now is introduce to you all our guest. Our guest is in the building now. Our guest is ready to come to the stage. I met this brother. He's a very, very good-spirited brother. Very calm in the vibes, but is very intelligent and articulate about cybersecurity. Brother Ishmael is a yogi. He's a former slam poet and a cybersecurity enthusiast. Who encourages us to become tech fluent. He encourages us to be tech fluent and understand how the advancements in technology affect our lives. This is something that we need to know. He began his career in New York City, in a New York City tech startup scene where he helped companies raise funding and worked with clients like Google Fi and the Near Protocol, a layer 1 blockchain. Currently, is wears many hats at Symposia, a global cybersecurity organization addressing the growing cyber talent gap worldwide, family. I would like for all of you to give my brother a virtual round of applause as he comes here to sit with us here at Shifting the Culture Podcast to further educate us in cybersecurity, information security. My brother, Ismael Coleman. Yes, sir. What's going
Thanks.
on, brother? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How are
Man, that
you?
was great, man. No, I'm pretty good. I can't complain.
Oh man, yes, sir. Absolutely, brother. Man, we appreciate you for joining us and being with us tonight, man. To have this discussion around,
Yeah.
cybersecurity and information security. So, as we were talking, and I was kind of prepping everybody around, what the discussion would be about. Could you just tell us a little bit more outside of, a little bit more in depth of the bio about who you are and, and your experience in cybersecurity?
Oh, for sure, for sure. So, in depth about me, I'm born in Memphis, Tennessee. So, from the South, my mother's an educator, my dad's a DJ. Grew up in a really creative household that really pushed education. And I, when I was growing up, I was always into this technology. For Christmas, I got a science kit, microscopes and scalpels. I was taking apart cameras as a kid, and instead of saying that boy's bad, my mom was like, "Oh, he's super inquisitive, right?" And that just kind of became my go-to. I was always kind of like a tinkerer, right? And that's kind of like it's a story we
Right.
hear a lot. And when I well, growing up, being in a musical family, being from Memphis, if you know anyone from Memphis, everyone wants to do music, right? It's just like part of like the culture. So I did music. I sang in the church. I was a slam poet. Traveled doing that. That my gift allowed me to sort of see the country and like
Mm,
travel a bit. And it was actually the music industry and working on festivals and whatnot is kind of what brought me to tech. And so when I first raised money to build a studio, I learned how the fundraising process worked at VCs.
mm,
I got to New York and realized, hey, this industry might not be for me. I immediately hopped in at a tech startup that raised money as part of an incubator, and then I immediately learned how growth hacking works, how scaling works, and understanding as we grew, we had a lot of people's information.
mm.
I mean, we had a lot of people's information as we grew a startup, and you know, kind of transitioned out of that space to like where I am now. Increasingly, what I've always noticed from startups to cryptocurrency, even in industries that are becoming legalized now, the word you're going to hear is compliance,
Mm.
right? So as things grow and become more powerful, or new things get introduced to the country, to the population, to culture, you're going to see regulation come into play too. And so what we sort of have now is this interesting environment where technology is becoming more powerful. We see cyber attacks kind of taking general everyday systems down, from water systems to 911 to school districts, right, being affected. Now we have to talk about how to regulate these things. And so when we get to the point today where, if you remember back in the day when they were building the infrastructure of the country, streets, railroads, fast forward a little bit, interstate systems, it was all hands on deck and everyone had jobs building critical infrastructure.
Right.
One, we're at a point where everyone is online, chronically online, right? We rely on the internet for our for day to day necessities, for just the basic functionality,
Right.
but we're not thinking about it. We're thinking about what we need to do and not how much we rely on these systems. So now we need people to have the skills to actually know how to protect us online. The same way we put all hands on deck to build infrastructure back in the day. And that's the influx that's happening now. So I really want people to be fluent. My mom was an educator. She wanted people to be literate, right?
Right.
Super literate. I want you to be digitally literate. I want you to understand what these things mean, what tools are around this, and how rapidly things are changing, because the future is today.
Right. 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 Thank you for that. Thank you for that, brother. And that's very important because, as you mentioned, us becoming more educated, and I throw myself in that pool because even though I work with technology every day, you still don't know everything that there is to know, and it's constantly evolving. You're constantly learning new things like that. And as you mentioned, compliance is something that you're going to continue to hear more of, as this things continue to move forward. So, you mentioned the cyber attacks and stuff like that. Could you talk a little bit also, before we go there, could you talk about your time with Symposia? Because, the family is aware that I have partnered with Symposia and, on bringing education. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And bringing education to the community around cybersecurity and information security. So could you just talk a little bit about your role and, just a little bit of background on Symposia?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, of course. So Symposia is a cybersecurity organization, but at our heart, we're really, really about education, right? Because the best way to protect ourselves is to educate ourselves, right? And the best way for me to protect you is to inform you, right? Arm you with the knowledge to be able to protect yourself, right? So at the core of it, it's really about helping people build the skills necessary to become valuable in this new environment, right? If you've got those skills, you can pay the bills, right? But not only that, but you can also defend yourself, right, and help protect other people. So, one of our core values or core mission is really to one help transform people into those maybe cyber warriors, right? Those folks who can actually protect themselves, their families, their organizations, and their community by understanding what the standards are in terms of protecting themselves, right, and keeping information secure. And then we also want to I guess as a side effect of that, solve the larger cyber talent gap, right? And so you'll see statistics out there: 3.5 million jobs in cybersecurity open by 2025, right? And as of the data, that's next year. And so it's not that we don't know what to do; we just don't have the people to do it. That's the gap. That's the gap, right? So our mission is to really one fill that gap, and by doing so, we're solving not just like your personal problems, right? If you just want to like get a job that pays well, et cetera, but we're also solving national issues, right?
Yes.
Global problems, right? Actually, global problems. Cyber crime in and of itself, I want to say, is a $3 trillion economy. $3 trillion of the global GDP was siphoned by cybercrime, and I want to say 2022, I believe. I
Yes,
mean,
sir.
countries. That's more than entire countries, right? Can generate. If it were, cybercrime would be bigger than Nvidia or Apple or Microsoft. Right? It's up there. It's up there. It's up
Right.
there. If it were,
Right.
you know. So that's what Symposia is all about: solving that by really creating valuable people. And yeah, what I do, I wear a ton of hats. You may see me in a couple of videos. You might see me on an admissions call. If you work at a company, I might be talking to you. So just all hands on deck. We're just building. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. So earlier you alluded to the cyber attacks that's happening, and before you came on, we were discussing the big cyber attack that just has taken place against 15,000 car dealerships in America. I was in the car dealership on Friday, and they were telling me that the system was down, and come to find out that it's this big blackout that has taken place across the country. So much so, that is dragged on. It's dragged on to the point where they actually released an article today, right here on CNN Business, that says that it could take up to months to correct, if not years. Car dealerships and customers feel the impact that CDK outage drags on. So as we see, these cyber attacks that's taking place, many may be familiar with the one I believe that hit. I can't remember which airline it was. If it was Southwest, I believe it was, possibly. That was another big one as well. And then, of course, I'm pretty sure some other ones. But they knocking out your ability to purchase vehicles, flight and transportation, right? So now transportation is becoming an issue because all of these flights had to be delayed because of the issues at the airport. So talk about, with these occurrences taking place in real time, and the demand that that the government has for skilled individuals that work in the cyberspace.
Yeah. Have you seen that movie the Obamas put out, Leave the World Behind? Have you seen that
Yes,
on Netflix?
yes, yes. And you know
It
what?
is
I
great.
was
It's
I
great.
need to watch it again because I was talking to somebody and they was kind of dropping some other information on me. I was like, and they was like, it was pointed in that movie. So I wanted to go back and meticulously look for certain things. So yeah, but I seen it.
Yeah, it's a dramatization, right? It's a movie, but you have a former president behind it. So like there's an awareness that's backing that film.
Okay.
An awareness, and so I kind of want to really focus on what could happen. And so here we've got a situation where we don't necessarily think of car dealerships as critical infrastructure, but here, like, we're being extremely inconvenienced. This is like an extreme inconvenience. Now you got to go, I don't know, go buy a car from, homeboy or somewhere. You got to go find some
Somewhere.
other way to go get it, right?
Yeah,
Right? And so, but here's the other thing, though, right? Let's think about the second order effects of that. What do I mean? Well, if we can't buy cars, okay, cool. Maybe I'll still carpool. Maybe I'll go buy a used car from someone. But if the dealerships can't move that inventory, how does that affect the car companies?
that's right.
How does
That's
this
right.
affect the economy? Right? In the US, we've got these big tentpole milestone purchases in our life, right? Cars and houses,
That's right. Those are number one. Those are number one and two. One and two right there.
right? And so if cars are being disrupted, right? And that disrupts the financial sector because in one of the number one loan, that's not the number one loan, but up there with home loans is car loans. Those are the two things people cars, homes, education, right? Not in that order, but it's up there. I'm just spitting. So if they can't take out car loans, all right, this is affecting the financial sector in some kind of way as well. And it's also affecting the production and the I guess it's just going to affect the car industry as well. And so there are effects that happen. This first order effect, okay, we can't buy cars. Second order effect, third order effect, this is going to have a ripple effect too. Now, what does it look like of other critical softwares that we sort of use across the board in terms of servicing maybe homes? Let's think about that, right? What would that look like if we can't?
Absolutely.
If our home purchasing power, not power, it's not really purchasing power, but ability is interrupted, right?
Yeah.
And so when we actually look at these cyber attacks, right? This is called a ransomware attack. Ransomware sounds like just like what it is. You take a magazine, you cut out all the different letters you want, you stick it on a piece of paper, you glue it, and you say pay me or else, right? And what ransomware really is hey, we're gonna freeze your system until you pay us this bread.
That's
Until
right.
you pay us this bread. And it's happened before. It happened recently with United Healthcare, 22 million that they had to
Wow.
cough up to. That was what they paid the hackers. This was last month. That's what they paid them. The damages, they almost lost $1 billion in Q1 alone. They're expecting $1.5 billion fallout. This is United Healthcare.
Mm.
It happened, a few years back. It happened with Colonial Pipeline. They
Wow.
stopped oil along the East Coast from Houston to New York. They stopped oil for almost a week. And they paid a couple $1 million to the hackers just to get back into it. We didn't really notice it because it was COVID. People had other things to worry about, right? But that happened too, right? And so, kind of want people to look at it. May I share my screen? Is that possible?
You should be able to just go ahead and try it, and if we can work through it.
No problem. Okay, perfect, perfect. All right, let's see if this works. Okay, boom, perfect.
Okay, let me
So
go ahead and
this
bring.
here is
You want me? Let me go ahead and bring it up. Let me bring it up.
okay.
All right,
Okay.
now it's visible.
Okay, cool. So this is one of my favorite sites, informationisbeautiful.net. And this is a visualization of some of the biggest data breaches and hacks over the past 20 years. It goes all the way down to 2004, right?
Wow.
And you can look at type of data sensitivity, was it bank cards, was it personal information or passwords, emails, sensitive details, etc. And then obviously here by the year that it happened in, right? You can see these get bigger and bigger. See how these get more frequent
Right.
after
Right.
2012?
It's becoming more. It's becoming more frequent. You see, it's more bubbles, meaning there's more attacks.
Not even that. Look how big they are, right? Ticketmaster, 560 million records, right? Facebook, this is 500 million records. I mean, that's your information, right? And not only do you see companies here, but you see countries here too. Countries. You see countries here as well. India, China, right?
Right.
Marriott,
Yeah, I was getting ready to
Equifax, you
say
know
you
what I
see
mean?
hotels, you see Facebook on there a couple times. I see T-Mobile, Dell, AT&T.
Right?
Wow.
I mean, and that's the bigger you are, and it's Twitter again, the bigger you are, right, the more points there are to become breached, right? Because if we look here at the filter, you can filter by size. Here you can actually see the sector. Was it in tech? Was it in transportation? Was it in media? But what's really interesting here is when you look at the method, hacked is just one of them, right? Whatever, however we want to define the term hack, it's pretty broad. But inside job, lost devices, oops,
Wow. So
poor security.
you could filter through the method and everything.
But what's really cool here is that, or really interesting rather, is that inside job, lost devices, oops, poor security. These are the people that work there,
Wow.
right? This is necessarily an outside, exactly.
Yeah. This is all internal.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so look at this French
French
government. Let's
government,
see what happened. Uh-huh.
a breach in French government department responsible for registering and assisting unemployed people. That's their unemployment office. Exposed 20 years of personal data, including names, birth dates, social security numbers, travel IDs, emails, postal addresses, and phone numbers.
So let's think about this really quickly. And I'll stop sharing this for now. Is the person who works at the unemployment office worried about getting hacked, or are they really just worried about taking care of the next case?
Taking care of the next case.
Is your dentist worried about the safety of all the patient information 24/7, or are they worried about your teeth?
Worried about your teeth.
Right? For the most part, people are just doing their jobs. And we kind of come in, we learn what to do. We do it, we kind of, we do it the best we can.
Right.
And we're not necessarily thinking about all the risks and vulnerabilities there are just with me doing my job. But here's the thing though. A cyber attack doesn't just mean someone broke in and stole your financial information or whatever. That can happen, right? Cyber attacks are really interesting in that if we just find a vulnerability, right? Maybe your password is set. Actually, let me share my screen again.
Okay.
Maybe, just maybe, your password. Oh, water. Here we go. Maybe, just maybe, the password is still set to default, right?
Right.
And it's 1111. And so maybe water utilities get shut down.
Wow.
Right.
U.S. water utilities were hacked after leaving their default password set to 1111. Cybersecurity officials say.
Right? And so, I mean, the person never thought that they would get hacked. They just thought, I'm the only person who's using this. Let me just, so I can go about my day faster. You know what I mean?
Right.
Reusing passwords is really common. I got a different password for everything I have an account to. I'm going to reuse a password. This is just normal.
Everything.
And so everyone's just going about their day, right? And so what we need, what would really, really help is more people who are actually trained on how to reduce risk in organizations so that the low-hanging fruit isn't just there for hackers to pick.
Right. That makes sense. That makes a whole lot of sense. And for those of you all who are just coming into... Oh, hold up. Yeah. All right. So for those of you who are just coming into the show tonight, I am your host, Brother King Cam, and this is Shifting the Culture podcast. I'm here with my good brother, Ismael Coleman from Symposia, who is talking to us and unveiling some of the myths behind cybersecurity and information security. So as you come into the stream, what I need you to do is like, share, retweet, comment. Let's get some activity and engagement so that we can break through this algorithm. Shout out to the Twitter family, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, everybody who's tuning in tonight for this special broadcast. So we have been talking about information security, and it's just been just helping us to understand the importance of the role, because we talked about what happened with the auto dealerships, and we talked about what has been happening more and more frequently around cybersecurity attacks on different organizations, companies, as well as countries, all of these different things that are taking place. And this is one of the highly profitable crimes that are taking place. So we are literally in a war right now, in a battle right now. So, man, this is very valuable information. And, as I always say, for those who are interested in getting into the tech industry and being able to get invited into the cybersecurity aspect, this is a valuable opportunity. And one of the things that Ish was talking to us about was the real big impact of these different type of attacks. So, here with the auto industry attack that just recently happened, it says that the financial impact will directly have on us will take months, if not years, to correct, Callahan said. And Ryan Callahan is the general sales manager for a Mazda dealership in Massachusetts. It says that you scroll down further, it says that Tom McParlin, the owner of Automatic Consulting, a national car buying service, said the outage was impacting customers because they have fewer dealers to choose from. It reduces their ability to get a deal, he said. It limits the customer's leverage. And some dealers also can apply factory rebates without CDK's software, so customers may miss out on money-saving deals. For customers looking to buy a car, McPartland suggested casting a wide net and shopping outside their local markets to find the best price. So as you can see, it's impacting infrastructure on the things that we take for granted, as day-to-day things. But as Ish mentioned earlier, after buying a home is purchasing a vehicle. It's up there with sending your children to college, right? So purchasing a home, sending your children to college, buying a vehicle. So these things are extremely important, and it's affecting our day-to-day. And the demand for the individuals now, because the way that these attacks take place because there are not enough skilled individuals to handle this aspect of business. You got dentists and doctors and car dealers and salesmen and managers they're doing their job, which is what their role is to do. But the people who are paid to keep an eye on the security and do the vulnerability testing and do the risk assessments is not enough. It's just not enough. So because of that, these companies and businesses are affected. Go ahead, Ish.
You said something really interesting. I think we should lean in on this a little bit more. The folks paid to do this. Can we talk about what they're paid? Is that?
Yes. I think the people would love to know what they were paid and what people are being paid. And we do have a question as well around cybersecurity and education and training. So yes, sir. Let's talk about the tech bag right now.
Okay, tech bag. So what I want to do, actually, if you don't mind, I'll direct you on this first. Can you share your screen?
Can I share mine? Yes.
Yeah, I'll show it. Anyone can do this. Is really what I want folks to understand.
Okay.
Is that anyone can look up this information. So
I'm about to say
Google.
Okay, yeah, and I'm about to say I can share mine.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, hold up. Get mine pulled up here. Okay.
Okay. Awesome. What else? So we're on Google.
Uh-huh.
All right. Type in U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics.
Okay, here we go. U.S. Bureau of
Anyone
Labor.
can do this. Now there might be a search bar right underneath that on the screen. Is there?
Yes.
All right. Here, type in information security. So we're going to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics because they have all the data on labor stats. So how many jobs they're expected to be, how many jobs there were, how much it's expected to grow by, and how much they get paid, right? Among a lot of other things. So if you type in information security, let's maybe see that first link. Let's go and let's see what they're saying. Uh, U.S. Bureau. I'm following
Here we
along
go.
here.
Information security analyst.
All right. So cybersecurity is pretty broad. There's a lot of different lanes when you think about cybersecurity because cybersecurity is concerned with what's on the internet, what's connected to the internet, hence cyber. Information security is more specific subset of that. We're looking at the integrity, the safety, the availability, and the when I say accessibility, it's who can access it, right? How secure our information is at an organization and who's accessing the information. Our team, right? Our employees, right? Our coworkers, right?
Right.
So where's the biggest risk? The biggest risk is our team, our coworkers, right? Our employees.
Yes,
Right?
sir.
And so how do we make sure that we reduce the likelihood that something's gonna leak? Right? Or if I know that you handle sensitive information on a daily basis, if I know that you're like let me see. If I know that you handle people's social security numbers every day because of your job, and that's just publicly available, and I just know that you're a target.
Right.
Maybe not for your information, but for whose information you have access to.
Absolutely.
Right? So how do I protect that? Right. So my job is okay. This is my organization. How do I protect you, or make sure that you kind of don't expose yourself or don't click on the wrong thing and then become a target. So that's what
Absolutely.
information security do. So if we look at this page here, you can see quick facts. The 2023 median pay, if you know mean, median, mode, median, that's the number in the middle, was about
Right.
$120,000 last year, right? And then right below that, you see on now it's about $60 an hour, just underneath that, right?
Mm.
Typically had degrees, but we know now they actually don't. I'm going to show you why you don't, right? And then work-related experience, less than 5 years of experience. Okay. Now these things tend to change, so they're looking for the growth over the next few years. It's about to be 32% growth, which is
Wow.
much faster than other sectors, right? So it's growing a ton. The amount of jobs that were listed as information security was just under 170,000 last year, but we noticed these jobs also have different titles.
Right.
There's a lot of different things that fall within that purview. Okay, so if you look up top, that's summary. There's what they do. There's work environment, et cetera, et cetera. But if you hit pay again on that top, those top tabs, and scroll down, you can kind of see how this depends on where you're serving. It's not an industry in and of itself. It's an aspect of every industry, right? The same way every industry needs an accountant, for example. What business do you know doesn't have an accountant, right?
Right.
Because everyone's dealing with it. All right, well, if you're dealing with information, you need information security, whether you think you do or not. Because I bet you that auto dealership didn't think it needed information security.
Mm. Wow. Man, look at that. Look at that, family. Look at that right there. So you can see it right here, man. Up the information sector is 133,530. Finance and insurance is 126,000. Management of companies and enterprises 122,000. Computer systems design and related services 121,000. And management, scientific and technical consulting services 112. So all of those put you over the six-figure mark. So that is how much money that you actually can make becoming information security analyst amongst other titles as well.
Right? Now, what I always like to do is compare these labor stats to the market. These are last year's numbers. If you go on LinkedIn, Indeed, and you know how to filter for the right things, you can actually see listings that are out right now and what they're paying. Right?
Wow.
And of course, this always varies by where you live. These jobs are remote. There are those that are on site and hybrid, et cetera, et cetera. But the work is there. Now, what's the nature of the work itself? Right?
There we
When
go.
we talk about security, yeah, people typically want to know, well, do I have to code? Right? Fair. Right? Do I need to know math? What if I don't have a tech background or something like that? Those are all fair questions to ask. Typical, right? Computer science, I'll tell you, stuff is not. I caught on pretty easily. It's and I say it in my bio. I was an athlete. I was a yogi. I slam poetry, super creative. Um, I didn't take math classes in college if I didn't have to. Not that I couldn't. I was just in a different focus, a different phase of my life. But what's really interesting about this line of work is that if you can communicate and you're literate, right? You can communicate well. You can read well, interpret things, right? Read, write, typing, communication, and you have some leadership ability.
Right.
Then you can do this line of work. Because what are we actually doing? We are understanding the bylaws that the government wants us to have to protect people's data, and we're making sure that our organizations follow that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So this is a non-technical role. Essentially, at the core of it, it's a non-technical role. And a lot of people who hear technology or they hear any roles in technology automatically assume web development, software development, Python coding for, cybersecurity engineers and things like that. But could you talk about the aspect of the technical versus non-technical and how you don't have to have a tech background or coding skills to become a risk analyst or information security analyst?
Yeah, no, great question. So if you have technical experience, great, right? Because at the end of the day, it's always good to know
That's right.
how these things work in the context, right? That's awesome, right? The core skills here are, it's not technical. That doesn't mean it's non-intellectual, right? Because you really need to understand people, because people are the risk at the end of the day. Who gets targeted in social engineering or phishing attacks? Phishing is when you click on PHISH, right? When you
Yes.
click on like fishy links, right? A phishing attack. Social engineering is where someone pretends to be someone else. Right? I'm calling you pretending to be your nephew, or sending an email pretending to be. You get a text message from someone acting like they know you. Right?
Uh-huh.
The target is always a person. Right? The target is always a person. Right? And so in doing this, even though AI is advancing, even though technology is doing crazy things, we're actually using it because you still need a person in that loop to understand how this risk is going to affect people or how people are going to interpret it, right? This change happens in real time in the real world, although the technology is the vector through which, we're being attacked, right, or exploited,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's always happening to humans, by humans, and humans are the ones who need to understand how to reduce these risks, right? Because we're using the technology at the end of the day, it's not using us.
There you
So
go.
what skills do you have that could be transferable to this? I mean, project management skills. I recently interviewed one of our leaders at Symposia. He's a chief information security officer, and he came from project management, just sort of a senior project manager. He copped over because he was used to leading projects, and he was an assistant director right away, right? I know people from IT help desk who understand the problems that people run into. They've got a high level of empathy. Customer service folks, a high level of empathy because they understand the struggles that people have, so they understand what could be a risk or what could be interpreted as one. Right? I know people who are chief information security officers now who are teachers, and they took that enthusiasm and that love for educating people, and they took that into their role because now they got to go ahead and teach the whole company, and it's kind of like having kids all over again. I got to get people to do things they don't want to do,
Wow.
right? And so I named a couple of different things, but I've seen people come from freelancers and entrepreneurs who wanted to fund their dreams by doing something that was a bit more stable and a bit more lucrative that gave them time freedom. Teachers, servers, salespeople. Salespeople know how to talk. And this role is not just defensive, it also helps companies grow because who wants to do business with an organization that they can't trust?
Boom. Boom. That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point. And as we get further into it. And for those who may be interested, you can go ahead, family, and click the link. There is a link in the chat for you to go ahead and set up a call with Symposia, so that we can talk to you more about how we can help. How you can get more information about getting into the industry and how you can take advantage of this opportunity. And one of the things that I'm learning is that as you learn about the frameworks and things like that, these become opportunities for businesses that allow them to grow. Because as you mentioned, nobody wants to do business with companies who don't have what's set up or infrastructure in place so that your information is safe. So it becomes a deal breaker for companies to even get business. So that's how it's so. That's why it's so important, and it affects information security. Affects various sectors, including healthcare. As Ish mentioned earlier, finance, government, retail. We was just talking about the car buying industry. That's retail. Governments. It showed us earlier how it affected the French government, for example, and things like that. So there are so many areas in which this is affected. You're almost the one thing that businesses need to make sure that they function. You're like, you're irreplaceable like Beyonce. You're irreplaceable like Beyonce. Because you see what's happening. And they need these type of individuals to go ahead and keep things flowing. So Marion Love posted this question. So I wanted to get to this question. Marion Love said that how long would it take to make money in cybersecurity? And then they said education/training versus actual earning.
Okay. So is the question someone who's starting from scratch? Is that what I'm hearing?
They didn't say, so I would assume. Yeah, I would assume starting from scratch. Then.
Okay. Let's paint a picture. So everyone's different, and Marion, I'm assuming you're super intelligent, right? So making money is not hard. Cyber is not hard. Genuinely, if you're valuable, then it'll just come to you, right? Money will come to you. What do I mean? I think less about how soon can I start making money. Think less about what approvals or certifications do I need, and those are great. Certifications are great, right? Think more about who can I serve, what problems can I solve, right? What are the problems around me that I can go solve doing this? Who do I know that has this problem, or this might be valuable to? When you can start seeing those connections and those gaps, then where other people see problems, you'll start to see opportunities, right? When we look at the CDK hack that's shutting down all these auto dealerships right now, if you really read into that, there's an opportunity there. There's an opportunity for a new company to come in. There's an opportunity to create a software that doesn't have maybe certain vulnerabilities, right? Because now the conversation is going to be, check this out. What do you think happened to their stock price?
Dropped. It dropped.
Right? And so when we think about what businesses need, them being able to get business, them being able to have consumer trust is going to be about, do we keep your information safe? Right? Remember when people didn't like Facebook a while ago because they thought they was giving information? You know what I mean? It's really about trust. So in terms of making money in cybersecurity, there's a couple different ways. Cyber is super broad, right? You can get paid to be a penetration tester, right? To break into people's environments and let them know what and really how crappy their security is. You can do that, right? You can build response plans for people. You can help people pass audits. That's a really, really big one, right? A lot of organizations need to pass certain types of audits to show that they meet certain standards.
That's right.
Here's a metaphor to explain, right? You go to a restaurant, you see a blue letter A on a piece of paper on the door, right? That means they got an A from the health inspection. It's cool. You walk in, it's clean, et cetera, et cetera. If you see a D on that door, you're not gonna go there. If you see a D on that door, you're gonna dip.
Right. D for dip. We're not dining, we dipping.
A is for I ate over there. D is for I'm dipping, right? F is for forget about it. So companies, they have to pass these inspections as well, right? We call them audits. And what they're really looking for is, Do you have certain practices in place to keep people's info safe? Basically, what's your posture? How clean is your crib? It's really how you should think about it, right? And so, if I remember, if you've got kids, you child-proof the house or you
Got to.
dog-proof the house, right? To make
Uh-huh.
sure that certain accidents don't happen. It means I'm keeping certain things off the floor. I'm putting certain things away. I'm not leaving food out. My home has a certain posture because I have young children, and therefore this is the protocol. This is how I do that, right? There's certain folks' houses you go over, you would not let your kids step foot in that house
Right.
because you understand that's how it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because if you come over there, you don't want CPS calling, right? This is an endangerment, right?
Fact.
Or recall when you were young and you wanted to go play over someone's house, or maybe someone asked you if they could go play over someone's house. You know the infamous question we all ask: Who all over there?
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. Who all over there?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. What are they feeding you there? Let me go meet their folks, right? Because I want to do an assessment on the risk level of you engaging with these people.
Wow, I
We do
never
the
thought
same
about it like
thing.
that.
Mhm. We do the same thing with companies. So before our companies do business, they're going to do assessments on each other. They're going to send a person and send a person to the other company. They're going to send each other surveys and questionnaires. They're going to inspect each other up and down and really see, hey, can I trust you guys to do business so that if we expose or share any sensitive information to you, that we're not exposed to any risks? Because if it does, we're going to get sued and we're going to get hung up by our customers, right?
That's true. That's true.
So this is the value that we bring, right? Now, in terms of studying, I want to get back to Marion's actual question. I didn't forget. I did not forget. It really depends on your learning curve, right? I've seen people get into the industry in a matter of months. Some people take years because they just don't have the right information and the right guidance, right? But I'll give you a protocol that I would follow, right? So if you're taking notes on this, um, first thing I would do is one sort of get an aim, right? Aim for a skill set that is in demand, that is understaffed, and ideally one that pays well, high value, right? So you find a skill set that's in demand that not a lot of people are doing because one, you want to get rid of the competition. You don't want to be commodified, so just ignore the competition altogether, right? And you want to do something that they actually need, that's actually solving a problem, right? That's number one. Talk about information security, it's pretty broad, right? There's a couple different things you can do in there for healthcare, for finance, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, that's one. Second thing is just get your feet wet, get your hands dirty. No one ever learned how to ride a bike by reading about it. That's my saying, right? And so,
That's
what you
golden.
need to do, start doing projects, right? So, obviously, learn the information, study, right? Having a mentor will help you avoid some of those pitfalls. You can just get a person's wisdom. That's the great thing about books. That's the great thing about mentors. There's a lifetime of knowledge and wisdom and mistakes that you can go ahead and learn and absorb from. But really start doing projects because you're not going to know it. I think studying to study or studying yourself in circles is the worst thing you could ever do for anything. Um, Particularly when you're looking for an outcome, not just to be smarter, but you actually want to become a thing, you need to practice. You want to become a thing, you need to practice. So do some projects. And just like, I don't have an internship. Your job probably doesn't have security protocols in place. Maybe, I don't know. Try it
Mm.
out. Your doctor's office. Do they, HIPAA compliance? Like, try it out, right? You'll start to see when you put the rose colored glasses on, you start to see things in a different light. And now you can say, okay, let me see if I can actually do this here or apply this there. Do it for free. Do an assessment for free. Just
Mm.
start practicing. Start practicing, right? Then you really want to connect with companies. So as you start doing this work and you start building these things out, it starts making sense to you. Then go ahead and connect with companies. I say do this from the beginning. Connect with people. Start having conversations with people in the industry. Start sharing and showing what you know. Talk to folks. Show them that you're doing this and you're pretty good at it, right? You help someone so avoid a certain thing, right? Talk about it, do it, just and connect with organizations. You start having those conversations. But the money piece happens when there's a clear exchange of value. So either you're getting hired somewhere or you're closing a deal and you're getting a client, But you need that confidence first, and that confidence is going to come from completing some projects or doing some work.
Wow. I hope that answered it. I think that was super thorough. That was super thorough ish. Helping to break that
Yeah,
down.
man.
And I think that's one of the. Let me just give you a round of applause for that thorough answer, brother. And the biggest question that I get when it comes to the tech industry, cybersecurity in particular,
Yeah.
specifically,
Yeah.
is the pathway. A lot of people are trying to figure out the pathway. Hey, I got on YouTube, I did some Google research, and they say I got to take Security Plus, I got to take Network Plus. I need to get this CCNA for Linux. I got these, and I still haven't been able to, land a role in cybersecurity. So, what is it that I'm doing wrong that is not allowing me to get that job? And that's not saying that you don't need those things, because this is an industry that's
Yep.
constantly evolving. So you should get Security Plus. You should get
Yep.
Network Plus. You should get CCNA for Linux, especially if you're a more technical person. Especially when you talk about that CCNA with Linux, with Cisco. If you're a real technical person, you definitely want to get those things, because it's just going to help improve everything and add value to what you already have. And that's one of the things that Ish is consistently saying. You want to add value, add value, add value. So when it comes to pathway, how does Symposia and yourself, how do you all help people discover and carve out their pathway to getting invited into the industry?
For sure. So at Symposia, there's a few things that we do that are markedly different from the industry at large. Typically, when folks look to get into the industry, they go for a degree program. Degrees are great, or certification. Once again, certs are also great, because like when you have a certification, that shows that you dedicated time and attention to understand certain subject matter.
Yes,
Right?
sir.
Same thing with a degree too. You need to know that you've been exposed to this stuff and that you're really familiar with it, right? But there's a difference between knowing and experiencing,
Mhm.
right? And so this is usually where people get caught up, is that I've got the certification, so maybe you actually get called back for interviews because you've got the cert right on paper, but your lack of experience shows because you actually haven't done any work. Like I passed the test, but I haven't taken that much, right? So
Right.
that's where we end up, or my degree program was really, really broad. And so I know a bunch of things, but I don't really know one thing really well, right? Or I'm in an interview for network for a system administrator, and I'm over here talking about PCI. It's just not a thing you need to. It's just that's not what it's about. But it's all cybersecurity though. But that's not relevant. You know what I mean? And
Right, right,
so
right.
what we really focus on is there are three things that are really different. One is that you learn hands-on with chief information security officers, and I kind of want to introduce you guys, well, to the concept of a CISO, because I was told recently most folks don't know what a CISO is. Um,
You're probably right, because I didn't. That's not a term. Yeah, most people are not familiar with it. They don't know them as being a part of the C-suite, not like CFOs, the CEOs.
Right. So yeah. So basically, a CISO. If I could share my screen, if you know what a CEO is, that's a chief executive officer at a business. A CISO is a chief information security officer, and they're the top dog that leads all the cybersecurity efforts at an organization, right? And so, as Brother Cam and I said, and this is not the view of Symposia. My views aren't necessarily the views of the company, but I think we're in a cyber war. Plainly, this my personal belief, my personal opinion, and in this, like your greatest defenses are going to pour a lot of resources into, and our greatest defense and our greatest resource here is people. And so, folks with the leadership ability and the extensive knowledge, and they know how to solve certain problems and bring certain solutions. These CISOs, they get paid pretty well. And so, I don't
Wow.
know if you're sharing this, if you guys can see this. Some
Yes.
organizations, their pay packages crack nearly seven figures, right? This is a
Wow.
mix of cash, bonus, stocks, perhaps probably a combination of the three, right? But in terms of your trajectory, even as a W-2, right, you could do pretty well. Never mind if you decide to consult and do your own thing. And so what's important here is that, hey, I want to learn from the best, right? What type of person do I need to become to where a company would pay me $1 million as an employee and I'm not the CEO,
Wow,
right?
that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy to think about it. That's mind blowing right there, family. You can make $1 million from a company and you're not the CEO.
Right. And so the thing to think about here is like, okay, all right, so who do I need to become then? Right. And the best way to obtain that pattern is to be mentored by someone who is that person. Right. And so what happens here is you learn directly from chief information security officers, from CISOs, and that's who's sort of guiding you through your journey. This who's gonna tell you how to do this work. That's who you're gonna do the work with, right? That's who's going to validate your work product, you know what I mean, to make sure that you're doing the stuff right. And you report to them the same way you do at a company. So it's hands on, acquiring those skills, right? Once you sort of you understand the fundamentals, you kind of understand the lay of the land and how this stuff works, right? At a bird's eye view, now it's just really time to apply it. So you know where you're going. Now let's just go there, right? Once again, hands on. That's how you really get to know something and experience something. If you're looking for that confidence comes from actually having done a thing, right? Not studying. And that's where folks get stuck.
Wow.
I've studied in circles. I'm applying. Nothing's kind of working. Have you actually done any stuff like no? But how I get the experience if I don't get hired and if I don't get hired, I can't get the experience. No, you can. Go make it happen because there are folks who do. There are folks who do. Just make it happen. Once you understand it, go apply it. Even if you're doing it for free, go do it. Right? So we do hands-on projects. We've got companies that we've partnered up and create externships with. You can do the work with them. We've got projects internally. Some of our mentors have worked at NASA, worked with the DoD, State Department of Health. So you get to learn from people who do it at that level and do some projects under them. But now that you've actually done it, you got your own portfolio. Now you've built your confidence because now you have actual experience and building the solutions that companies need. And when you have a portfolio, now this is my portfolio, but now I have like a security Bible where, hey, these are all the solutions that your company needs. And I built it right here. Now these conversations happen differently because you can introduce structure to an organization. And then that last piece is not the last piece. We apply to companies for you. If you need help with that, we can accelerate that by matching your effort because we saw that if you're cold applying, maybe like 40 applications per day. So we used to see for people to get some kind of traction, right? But we also curate a portal so you don't just have to bare apply, right? And then that last piece I say is really different is that, hey, and I'm getting carried away, but that last piece is really different is that
No, you good.
support you. Yeah, we continue to support you even after you have a role. And so from guiding you through these actual interviews, these chief information security officers, these hiring managers will interview you and we won't do any introductions until you pass our interview. So we know that you're there and then supporting you after you have that role because you're new to the industry. And so let's actually transition smoothly with continued support in the job market.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Ish. That was really good information, and this is a comprehensive, package. You have the everything that's set up for you to be able to get the information, get educated, and then also to start putting the theory into practice, which is extremely important. But then after you put the theory into practice and you start to utilize your skills in real projects and build portfolios and be a part of teams and internships and things of that nature, now you're able to enter into the market after doing the mock interviews. You're able to enter into the market now and you're able to apply, and Symposia helps and assists and keeps you supported throughout that whole process. So it's a beautiful opportunity as you move through this, especially when you are new to this and you don't really know how things are gonna go, what to do. So having that support from the community is extremely important. So thank you for laying that out as well,
Yeah.
Ish. So as we
I want to something. May
go ahead,
I interject really quick?
yes, sir, absolutely.
I think that because we said a lot, I want folks to know that what you need to be successful is actually really simple, right? For folks who are looking to actually like have an impact and jump into cybersecurity, you might hear all of these things. It's not that complicated. What you need is a strong understanding, first of all, a stable understanding. You need to learn how to fix the problems that they're looking for. That's all. How do I fix that problem? It's really simple. How do I fix that problem? And then go show people that you know how to fix it. That's it. That's it. So we're talking about one, just understanding the subject matter, a stable understanding, demonstrated ability that comes from doing projects and building your confidence, and then communicating to the right people they actually know how to do this. That's all you need to know how to do. Those are three things that you need to know how to do. Understand it, do it, communicate that you can do it. That's it. That's it.
That's
With
it,
that
family.
laser focus, right, I can take myself now, a person who can solve these problems. Do you think the person who knows how to secure data at a water facility has to worry about finding a job, right?
Right.
You know, what problems are you going to go solve? And then it'll all come to you. And I don't, entry level, I don't want to hear any of that. That's propaganda. Be grounded. Just learn how to solve big problems, and then everything else you're looking for will fall into place.
Absolutely. So y'all heard it here, family. Man, for those who are just joining us here at Shifting the Culture podcast, I'm your host, Brother King Cam, and I'm here with my brother Ismael Coleman, and we are discussing information security, cybersecurity, and unveiling some of the myths that many people have. You know, we got a lot of people that's tuned in. So, if anybody have any last minute questions, then please put your questions in the comment section. Let us know what city and state that you tuned in from. We are streaming on multiple platforms right now. We do have people who are checking in from Virginia, I believe from Massachusetts. I saw earlier. We have some people who are tuning in from Pittsburgh. So, we got people tuning in from all over the country that is watching this and getting more educated on cybersecurity and the opportunities that exist. And as I mentioned on my platform all the time, you're able to come into the tech industry and you're able to make this type of money, and then you leverage it into doing things as far as entrepreneurship, real estate, stock market, whatever the case may be, so that you're able to leverage and able to, create and diversify your portfolio. So take advantage of the opportunity, because we don't have that much time, so let's go ahead and let's do it now, and let's get to it. So for those who may be interested in learning more, having an in-depth conversation with Ishmael and others, you want to click the link that's in the chat right now. You click that link, you'll fill out your name, your email address, and phone number, and then someone will call you so that we can have a further conversation about what it is that you're interested in, what you're looking to do, and to chart out the best pathway for you. All right, family. So hit the comment section. Let me know what other questions that you may have while we have Brother Ishmael right here to answer them. And Brother Ishmael, do you have any closing remarks that you would like to leave us with, and where people can find you on social media, where people can just tap in with you?
Yeah. 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 Cool. Folks are all over the country. It's here. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I know Pittsburgh was here. I know Massachusetts was here. Massachusetts, they had the 911 outage recently. You heard about that?
No,
There
I
was like
did not hear about it.
a firewall blocked calls from getting through to the 911 dispatch. So there wasn't a
Wow.
cyber attack. Interesting that the firewall itself stopped calls from getting through to 911. So I think it sounds like, it was it's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah, that's
So
very interesting.
if you name a state, I might know a cyber incident that happened in your state. So just like
Yo,
drop it.
that's crazy. Well, we got Richmond. Like I said, we got Richmond, Virginia in here.
he going to test it out. He's like, all right, go.
Yeah.
You know, what I want to do before I well, Richmond, okay, Virginia's close to the DMV area.
Yep.
They had Department of Defense had schematics for a jet fighter plane leak, and the vendors leaked it. Now China has a copy of our jet. It's pretty close to it. Yeah,
Wow.
it's kind of crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's heavy. National security. That's a national security thing right there.
It's a whole
Dang.
thing. Well, it's also a business thing because now they're trying to sell planes, but their plane is cheaper than the plane that the U.S. company has, and so they're like, "Who's gonna buy our planes?"
Oh,
But,
yeah. So they're trying to undercut. Business
You know
is
what I mean?
warfare. Business is warfare.
Yeah. But yeah, closing remarks. Man, I'm just excited. I'm super passionate about folks like hopping into this industry, just like tuning into the right stuff. All right, folks want to die on hills. I ain't about to die on nobody's hill, but this is kind of like the flag I'm trying to plant right now.
Mhm.
Every forex trader, drop shipper, TikTok shop fulfillment by Amazon person, extra now on my barbers and on my braiders. I need y'all continue doing what y'all doing. Everyone else who's like doing a side hustle just for money, come and solve a real problem like cybersecurity. You can make money. It'll be stable, and you're gonna have time and resources to invest in other things that you want to do. Right? You get a job, solve the cyber problem. I feel like if we took like the distraction of like trading and because you can't trade with no money, but if we took that distraction,
That part.
like start a business and everything without having the skills to actually run a business, 'cause it's a lot, you know. I mean, when I was in New York, I worked with startups. We raised millions of dollars. I worked with larger companies. I worked with smaller companies. This is probably my third startup that I worked with. Starting a business and running a business is hard. Most fail. And when you actually do succeed in success, of course, is like relative. When I look at what we've done, it's really because of the capability and character of our leadership and of our team. You know, and so you probably have a lot of growing to do, and that's okay. So in the meantime, learn a valuable skill set to really solve some problems. Now you can think clearly because anything when you're like not where you need to be financially, and that's a stressor on you, you can't think clearly. I was told that my brother Augustine told me this. Anything you see that might be a good idea, like that shiny object syndrome, it's probably a hallucination. You have to treat it like you're hallucinating because you can't think clearly. Get that income. Focus on the one thing. Once you start making that income from solving something like cybersecurity, we're talking about, you know, high five, at least six figures or more, and your needs are met. You start thinking about what you really want to do. You start to stretch your legs a bit, you know, stretch your arms out, really think about what you actually want to do. Now you're thinking clearly. You're not really thinking out of necessity. What do I really want to do now? What do I really want to build now? And you understand that what you do for work doesn't necessarily have to be your livelihood. So now you can go invest in all those other things you want to do, whether it be travel or everything like that. Because I think folks who want to just go like travel, that bug to like express ourselves and spend on ourselves or go on trips and everything is just escapism, right? So you have to ask yourself, are you escaping? You know,
Good question.
Well,
Good question.
why escape when we can sustain? So like find a pattern that you can actually sustain because you actually don't have to escape. So, you know, life is not a struggle. You don't have to keep hustling. Just become valuable and you don't have to worry about that. That's my
Man,
piece.
man, that man, we got to bring you back for part 2 on that one because that escapism piece is, you know, something that's heavy, you know, and you see a lot of people that's heavy, not only in our community, but just in society in general. And that just lends to the fact that, you know, people are not happy in their reality. So they try to escape to another reality for a couple of days or for a couple of hours, whatever the case may be, to get away from something and then, you know, ultimately come back. So what is it about your reality, about your everyday routine, as you mentioned, that you are trying to escape? And And instead of trying to escape it, you should be trying to focus on the things that exist there that you don't like, removing those and setting up the reality in the world that you want, for yourself. So that's a very important piece.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So, social media. Where can people find you on social media?
Oh, cool. So currently my Instagram is Ismael, Ismael Rashad, RASHAD C, the letter C. So Ismael Rashad C. That's Instagram. LinkedIn is Ismael Coleman. You should search me. It should be Ismael Coleman. Comes up Ismael Coleman Symposia. I should pop up. And yeah, man, that's all for now.
All right, man. So shoot. All right, family. So make sure that you tap in with my good brother on those social media platforms, family.
Welcome Symposia at Welcome Symposia on all platforms. You can find our company as well.
Got it. Definitely got to do that. At Welcome Symposia. At Welcome Symposia on all platforms as well, so that you can find the company, find out all of the information that you would like, and be able to come on board. We would love to have you. We'd love for you to join us in our journey. I'm currently in the process right now, family. I'm currently in the process. So as you know from seeing my social media, I'm going through the journey. So if you want to join it with me, as we go through these different courses and sit through these different modules and things like that, and get more educated, and become more valuable in this thing, then you can see the positive results for yourself. So don't wait. You might as well just go ahead and get started today. Those who are interested and would like to get a call from Symposia, the link is in the chat, family. The link is in the chat. You fill out your name, your email address, and your phone number, so that we can follow up with you, so that we can see how we can help you as best we can, family. So it was a beautiful time. Thank Brother Ismael again. Yes, sir. For spending some time with us here at Shifting the Culture podcast, and just elaborating and unveiling some of the myths that people have around cybersecurity. So thank you, bro. I appreciate you for coming through. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you. Y'all come study with Brother Cam and me. Come study, come learn some cyber stuff, y'all.
Come on, they need to. Yeah, man, it's definitely fun. It's definitely eye opening. I'm learning so much. So it's definitely eye opening. And man, we definitely got to bring you back for a part 2.
Man, I'd love to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. All right, then, brother. All right, family. So that is our show for tonight. Brother Brother Marion, yes, sir. Marion Love, thank you so much for coming through, for tapping in. I don't know if that was a brother or sister, so I don't want to be wrong. But Marion Love, appreciate you. Said it was flame. So y'all let me know in the comment section, how did you all enjoy tonight's conversation with Ismael? So y'all let me know with some flame emojis, some 100, some fist pumps, something. Let me know how y'all felt about tonight's show. I think it was I think it was very educated. It was very educating and very informing. I learned a lot myself, and very informative about cybersecurity and the opportunities that exist. And like I tell everybody, this is not something that you have to do forever. But one of the things that people don't know is that the average income for entrepreneurs is around $50,000. So at $50,000, and you have children to feed, and you have responsibilities, it's not enough. So while we want to ultimately get to a place of ownership and not the slave ship, what we want to do is we want to go about it strategically. So one of the things that I have learned is that you have to steal away. My teacher says steal away. And I don't mean steal nothing from your job or steal anything. Don't become a criminal. Steal away. The steal away method is where you have a job and you use the money to leverage the money from that job to build up your side hustle, build up your business on the side. And you steal away from those paychecks that you get, and you build yourself up. And in the process of you building yourself up, once you are able to sustain yourself fully, you making the same or more from your business than at your job, then you can let the job go. You can fire the job. Okay. But you don't do this and get into entrepreneurship without taking the right steps is what I'm saying. So this is what we're doing. We're trying to inform you and give you an opportunity for an investor. Because one of the things in our community is that we always talking about funding or lack thereof. Well, I'm giving you an opportunity to have a primetime investor that's going to loan you $120,000. Okay, maybe not 120, but they're going to loan you some money so that you're able to put it towards your business. You're able to take that $120,000 salary and you're able to put it to good use. You know, you'll have $2,000 or $3,000 every month to be able to invest into your business. Now, how many of us will be able to use $2,000 to $3,000 extra for marketing, for investing, to be able to take a course, go to a presentation, go to a expo, right? Go to a conference where you can become more educated in the field that you're looking to get into. All of these things are important when you're going into business, but we need to have the capital in order to do so. So this is an opportunity to do that through the tech industry. Most of the jobs are remote, as Ismael mentioned. You know, some of them are hybrid and on-site, but most of them are going to be remote jobs. So you can work from home. You can make over $100,000, put you in a different tax bracket. You can travel. You can see the world. And now you can diversify your portfolio and you'll have the funding to be able to start that business or do whatever it is that you've been wanting to do, really. Once you go ahead and go through this process. So as Ismael mentioned, let's lock in, let's focus, let's do what it is that we have to do. Let's give ourselves 6 to 12 months of elite focus on this one skill set so that we can be able to have years of that luxury, of that lifestyle, of, you know, ultimately what we're looking to accomplish. All right, family. So that's what this is about. Again, if you're looking to have more information, we would love to follow up with you. So click that link that's in my bio. I mean, that's in the chat right now, right here on the chat. And you click that link, fill out some quick information, name, telephone number, email. And then someone will be following up with you so that you can get more information. Okay? So that's what this is about. I enjoy myself. I love rocking with the family each and every Tuesday. So make sure you stay tuned. Those who are interested in becoming part of the community, please text the word STC podcast to 888-294-2793. If you're looking to become a part of the community, please text the number 888-294-2793. And what you're going to do is you're going to text the word STC podcast to that number so that you can become a part of it, because we want to build community. That's what it's about. Ultimately, we want to build a community around what we're doing. So that more and more people can learn about this, because each one teach one. Each one teach one. So when you get it, then you go ahead and let somebody else know. When I got it, I came and gave it to y'all. So you can't say that Brother Cam was selfish. Brother Cam didn't put you on or nothing. Brother Cam never gave you nothing. That's not true. That's not true. As soon as I get it, I came and I bought it to y'all. All right. So that's how we doing. I meant to tell him Atlanta was in the building too. Yeah, man, Atlanta's in the building as well. So, man, so shout out to y'all. Thank you all for showing up. Again, make sure that you like, subscribe, smash that follow button. Make sure you smash that subscribe button, and make sure you follow me on all social media platforms. All right, family? So in the process of that, we're going to go ahead and close out. And until next time, we appreciate all that you do. And, man, we'll see you back here same time next week. All right. So with that being said, peace and blessings.
Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. They gave leadership to our foreparents, and that leadership made them slaves. But we have decided to find a leadership of our own.
Not your average nigga, I'm a god out the hood. They can't downplay me. I came up, I'm elevated. I ain't gotta say too much for them to know I'm coming for what's mine. You know they see me in my presence, say they see how I'm coming. Young, but you not just gonna finesse me like you did my peoples. Then back when you said they was emancipated. This ain't that. Your head too big, you feeling yourself. The game wasn't fair, you had the advantage, we wasn't educated. I don't look at you people the same. Nah. Your worst nightmare, my skin tone about them chains. Yeah. Not no circus lion, son, I can't be tamed. You gon' have to kill me, pussy, Toby ain't my name. Y'all still wanna think our history started when we were slaves? What? Come on now, talk about them pyramids we made. I was chosen by that man, you know y'all just been running game. The nerve of you acting like